Alright guys, it's BLM here. It's time for another video. This is going to be another review. Now this is going to be a review of Ninja Quest, which is the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th episode of the 3rd season of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Yeah, as I said in my previous video, these reviews are pretty much just random. I just put all the episodes into a spreadsheet and then did a number generator. It just blew my mind 2 times in a row. The first 2 reviews that I'm doing, it ends up they're both pretty good episodes, so I was pretty happy with that. Ninja Quest is probably my favorite episode in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. If not, let's just say it is. I recently did a list of my favorite episodes, and this is the highest Mighty Morphin episode on there. These were the first episodes after the initial premiere of Season 3, which was A Friend in Need. Which was a 3-parter as well, so a 3-parter and then a 4-parter. Now, pretty much the plot of the episode is Rita Volta, who is the brother of Rita, Repulsa, lands on Earth. Ed and Rita send him to attack the Rangers. The Rangers end up morphing up, obviously, and fighting him in the Megazords and stuff. And they end up losing. The Thunder Megazord and the White Tiger Zord both end up destroyed. It's quite possibly my favorite scene in Power Rangers history. Definitely top 10. Probably top 5. I mean, it's just an amazing moment. Megazord's being destroyed, like just arm falling off, the freaking head rolling off the body. So because of that battle, they lose their powers. They're absolutely hopeless. They end up finding out that Zordon did not create the power coins. It was actually some random jackass named Ninjor. They end up trying to find the temple that Ninjor is located at. So they go into a desert and spend all of part 2 searching for it without any luck, which is so fucking retarded. I absolutely hate part 2. In part 3, they end up finding Ninjor and are able to get their new Ranger powers, which are based on ninjas, even though the suits are exactly the same. I never understood why they didn't change the suits at this point. I mean, I think they should have at the beginning, like from the transition to Season 1 to Season 2. It would have made a lot of sense. I mean, because the freaking suits are dinosaur based, yet they still have the, like, when they change to the Ninja Zords and when they change to the Thunder Zords, they still have the dinosaur helmets and stuff like that, when the Zords are completely different. Never understood that. I know that the Rangers in, like, the first forms, like the first suits, were pretty much a staple of the series, and that was like, people knew, like, they were Power Rangers right when they saw them, but I still don't understand why they didn't change it at that point. I mean, they end up using the Kaku Ranger suits in Alien anyway, so I don't understand why they didn't change it to begin with. And after they get the powers from Ninjor, they get attacked by Tenga warriors. They're pretty much the henchmen of Rito, or foot soldiers. Then again, technically he gave them as gifts to Rita. And actually they fought them in part 2 as well, but were losing. But this time in part 3, they're able to defeat them with the new ninja powers. At the end of part 3, they end up morphing and calling on the Zords. And then in part 4, they use the Zords to defeat the new Ninja Megazord. They end up using the new Ninja Megazord to defeat Rito. Ninjor gets attacked by some new monster named Vampire or something stupid, some vampire name. Yeah, the Rangers go and help him, and they destroy them, and then that's the end of the episode. Yeah, I guess I'll just talk about just random thoughts, which is pretty much what all my videos are. One of my favorite parts about this episode is the character development in Bulk and Skull. Because Bulk and Skull, up to this point, were just bullies that very selfish. In this episode, they kind of changed, but I mean, it led to them changing later on, where they became police officers. They end up hearing 2 girls talk about, like, how they love men in uniform and stuff like that, so they end up deciding to become police officers. Through the 4 parts of the episodes, they go through training and stuff like that, and in the end, they end up being official police officers and stuff. So yeah, eventually led to them becoming more sympathetic and happy and more mature. Something I don't like about this episode at the beginning is the fact that there's a volleyball tournament thing at the beginning for the first, like, 5 minutes or so. It's kind of retarded. I mean, they do this all the time in Mighty Morphin, where they show the kids playing sports and shit and, like, doing charity work and crap like that. I absolutely hate that in Power Rangers. I think it's really just a waste of time. I mean, in this episode, pretty much what they're doing is they're playing in a volleyball tournament, and it takes them 5 minutes to fucking win, while Rita and Zed just keep on saying, oh my god, what should we do next? It happens in almost every episode, and I don't like it, but whatever. While I don't like Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Season 2, something I do respect about it is that it's mostly American footage with the exception of the Zord battles. That's something that carried on to this season. Actually, in Season 3, there's even more because they had to shoot American footage for the White Ranger, which they didn't have to do in Season 2. So I really respect, like, especially this episode, Ninja Quest. Part 1 was almost entirely American footage. Part 2 was all American footage, even though it's a piece of shit episode. But and Part 3, again, mostly American footage. Part 4 is, I would say, mostly Sentai. I mean, it's a good amount of Sentai in Part 4, but I mean, the first 3 parts are mostly American footage, and I think that's pretty awesome. I mean, in Part 1, the only Sentai footage that was used was Rito during the Megazord battle and stuff, during certain scenes where you don't see the Megazords, and also Thunder Megazord and the White Ranger's cockpit and stuff like that was all stock footage from previous Die Ranger episodes. But pretty much everything else was American made, even the Megazord battle for the most part, which I absolutely love. I mean, I love it when they do American Zord battles. It just looks so much better because the film quality is better here than it was there in Japan. As I said, no Sentai footage in Part 2. Part 3, I mean, there's Sentai footage in the part where the Rangers are looking down that vase thing and see Ninjor when he's small and stuff. When they call the Zords and stuff, that's Sentai footage. I think that's about it. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I just watched the episode and I completely forgot already. But there might be a couple more scenes in Part 3, but whatever. And then Part 4 is a lot of Sentai footage. All the Megazord battles are Sentai footage in that episode. I believe that's it, though. But, I mean, still, most of the episode is a Megazord battle. 2 Megazord battles, by the way. Alright, so going back to complaints I have about the actual episode. I mean, for Part 1, there really isn't any. I think Part 1 is, I mean, with the exception of the volleyball tournament, is one of the most, like, closest to perfect episodes in Power Rangers history. Oh, yeah, one complaint I do have. Finster says that I'm bringing back 4 of my best monsters when I believe, like, 2 or 3 of them, at least some of the ones that he brought back, were not created by him. So I think that was kind of a mistake on the writer's behalf. And the most blatant mistake in the first episode is during the destruction of the Megazords, when you look at the Rangers, when they're showing the Rangers' reactions to the Zords getting destroyed, the Rangers keep on switching places from scene to scene. Like where, in the scene where Kimberly's saying no, like Billy and I believe Adam are holding on to her, pulling her back, while in like the next scene, like they're like in the background again, and then in the next scene again they're holding on to her again. Like, what the fuck? Part 2 is the episode that I have the most complaints about. Okay, Part 2 is the episode that I have the most complaints about. Pretty much the entire fucking episode is the Rangers go to the, what was it, Desert of Despair, some bullshit name. I mean, they always create these bullshit names of Power Rangers. But yeah, they went to the Desert of Despair or whatever, and the entire episode is them searching for the freaking temple. Like, half the episode is just them wandering around, and was it like in one scene there's a fire and shit where their map gets burnt, and they're like, oh no, what should we do? When the freaking map, all that was on it, if you look on it, was like a freaking X and some lines and stuff. I don't know how that would have really helped you that much. All you needed to do is just look at the map for like 2 seconds and know where the fuck you're going. And the other scene where Aisha is getting buried in quicksand and stuff, I think that's retarded as well. And another thing that I think is retarded, the way that they find the cave and stuff like that, is Adam accidentally like pushes down on a rock. Like, you couldn't be more creative than that. And at the end of the episode, Tommy just disappears through a wall. And then, like, all the other Rangers, like, go through the wall, like, we have to do this shit. All of a sudden, that's the end of the episode. Episode 2 is just very blah, like, very boring. You could tell it was filler. They just wanted to fill up some more time. I think what the writer's plan was, like, they initially, like, created an outline for, like, the 4 episodes. Like I said, okay, episode 1, they're going to lose their powers. Episode 2, they're going to search for the temple. Episode 3, they're going to get their powers. Episode 4, they're going to defeat the enemy. But what I think that they didn't understand is that there's not enough content to make an episode 2 just solely based on finding the temple. I think that's why it's very drawn out, very boring, very stupid. Episode 3 is another somewhat boring. There's interesting moments, obviously, but I mean, overall, it's kind of a meh episode. End up finding Ninjor. Ninjor gives them their ninja powers. That part is interesting. But and then it goes to fighting the Tangas and stuff. I think the Tanga fight was kind of drawn out. I don't know, I just lost my interest. I mean, it's an okay fight, but I mean, it's just seemed like it was longer than what it really needed to be. Ninja told them about their Ninja Zords. They tell them go fight Rito because Rito's attacking the Earth again. They call in their Ninja Zords. Next episode is the Megazord battle, which I really enjoyed. Alright, something I didn't really like is the fact that the Rangers, right when they saw the Tangas for the first part in part 2, they automatically expected, like, oh, it's Zed and Rita. Like, how the fuck would you know it's Zed and Rita? It might be some fucking bullshit character you never even saw before. Or it's not like they've seen them all the time and say, oh, it's not like the fucking putties where they know it's fucking Zed or Rita. Alright, part 4 starts off with the Zord. They go into the city and attack Rito. First, they fight them individually and stuff, which is okay. I mean, it happened in the Sentai. One complaint I do have is the Falcon Zord. At one scene, it's shooting at Rito. It ends up shooting pink lasers. However, in the end, like, when it hits Rito, it turns blue. Main reason for this is because it didn't happen in the Sentai. The Falcon Zord, if you don't know, in the Japanese Sentai, was actually not a man-controlled Zord like it is here. Like, here it's controlled by Tommy. However, in the Sentai, it was actually just, it's free, like, it had its own mind. It could do whatever the fuck it wanted. Happened to come whenever they needed help. So at this point, the Falcon Zord was not in the battle yet. The Rangers end up making the Ninja Megazord and fight off Rito, and Rito actually has a flamethrower type gun thing that they actually showed, which is kind of surprising, because, like, I haven't watched this episode in a few months or so I, like, kind of forgot about it, like the certain scenes and stuff like that. So then I went back, I watched the Sentai a few weeks ago of this episode, and it had that gun thing, and I was like thinking, there's no way that's in the actual Power Rangers episode. Then when I watched it, I was kind of surprised to see it, because usually when it comes to guns and stuff like that, they try to take it out of Power Rangers, and they didn't this time, so I was pretty interested by that. Another thing is that in the Sentai, the equivalent of Rito uses a jetpack at the end. Like, after the Rangers make Ninja Mega Falcon Zord, or whatever the hell it's called, and go into the air, Rito actually uses a jetpack to go into the air. However, they cut that out of the Power Rangers version. Like, they never actually showed the jetpack, even though you can see it on his back in a couple scenes. But they never showed it for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know what's so bad about jetpack. And obviously the Rangers end up defeating Rito, which in the Sentai, that was actually his death. That's actually when he died. However, in Power Rangers, he just escaped and stuff. In the meantime, Ninjor is actually battling Vampirus, or whatever his name is, that one of the creatures that hatched from the egg, and the Rangers, like, they... This is something I hate about this episode too, is that they go to the command center, they think that something's wrong, like they hear the freaking alarm thing, something's wrong, then they search Earth, nothing's wrong with Earth, and then they just say, oh, okay, yeah, whatever, I guess nothing's wrong. Like, what the fuck? Like, you were just at fucking the Desert of Despair, what the fuck, and there were fucking Tangas attacking and shit. You would think that there would be an attack there as well right now, but of course, oh, they're just thinking, oh, it's okay. Until, like, freaking, like, 10 minutes later, they fucking find out, oh, wait, it's under attack. So they go help Ninjor. Another Megazord battle happens. Rangers easily win with the Ninja Megazord and help them Ninjor. And that's pretty much the end of the episode. So just gonna bring up a couple other things. Like, this is actually the first episode with Lieutenant Stone, who becomes pretty much a staple in the series until, I believe, Turbo. Something about the Megazord battle at the beginning in part 1 that I did not understand where the Megazords get destroyed is that they never called on the Mega Tiger Zord or the Thunder Ultra Zord or anything. You would think if they're in that much trouble, they would have called on some other things. And it's not like it's a Sentai problem this time, which... I understand if it was a Sentai problem, but it wasn't. They freaking had the suits and everything. So I don't understand why they didn't do that, like where they called on the Mega Tiger Zord. It would have made more sense. It could have been time issues, but I mean, I don't give a shit. It would have made more sense if they called in the Mega Tiger Zord or the Thunder Ultra Zord, but they didn't. This is the last episode of the Thunder Zords and the White Tiger Zord, and it's also the last time the Dinozords also appear. Because since the Thunder Zords were destroyed, that means the Dinozords were destroyed as well. What I did like about this is that they finally shot a fucking new, like, Megazord calling sequence thing, because for a while, I mean, like, the entire Season 2, they were using Green with Evil, and they just used it over and over and over and over again. This time, they finally changed it up. I forgot if they changed it up for the rest of Season 3, like kept on changing it or used the same scene over again, but whatever, it's nice to see something new. Part 1 was actually the last episode where they used the song Right Ranger Tiger Power, but and it's a very symbolic song in my opinion. Like, I remember watching White Light as a kid. It was actually one of the first Mighty Morphin episodes I watched, I think. And just hearing that song was just so fucking awesome. And yeah, this is the last time they used it since the Tiger Zord is destroyed. So there's no point in using White Ranger Tiger Power anymore. And also, an even more symbolic part about Power Rangers is that this is the first time they had bloopers in the credit. They didn't have it in A Friend in Need for some reason. I don't know why. I would have thought that would have made more sense since that was the Season 3 premiere. But they didn't, so they had it in this one, and it continued until Countdown to Destruction. After that, they started using Megazord transformations in the credits, which I didn't like as much. I mean, I love Lost Galaxy. It's my favorite season of all time, yet I did not like that aspect of it, that they took out the bloopers. Something else that I didn't mention is that the Sentai episode where they took the footage from Ninjor's first battle thing at the end of Part 4, that was actually the debut of Ninja Man, Ninjor's counterpart in the Sentai. He didn't actually appear until episode 35 or 36, pretty late into the series. That's why there's not too much footage of Ninjor in Megazord battles and stuff like that, because he didn't appear in the Sentai until much, much later. And that's also why he doesn't appear in Alien Rangers, because in Alien Rangers, they end up using a lot of Sentai footage from the earlier episodes, like the first 20 episodes or so. So that's why Ninjor never appears in Alien, because they end up using footage before he actually appeared in the Sentai. So yeah, I think that's pretty much all I had to say on Ninja Quest. It's one of the best episodes. I mean, it is the best episode of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. It's one of the best episodes of all time. So yeah, overall score for this episode, I think I'm going to split it up. I mean, like when I did Once a Ranger, I combined it together, pretty much because I consider both episodes an 8. Now, Ninja Quest Part 1, a 10. Fucking brilliant episode. Almost perfect. Alright, Part 2, I'll give a 5. It's a alright episode. It's not the worst Power Ranger episode I've ever seen. I mean, but it's definitely not the greatest. I mean, when you consider out of the, 4 episodes in this series, it's definitely the worst one out of the 4. But, I mean, it's still an alright episode. It's watchable. Number 3, I'll give a 6. Not really much happens. I mean, they get the ninja powers, but other than that, the rest of the episode just seems like filler. But, I mean, it is a good episode. I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad episode. It's not necessarily great. Alright, the final part, I will give a 9. I think it is a great episode. It's absolutely fantastic. The only complaint I have is it seems like the final part where they're fighting Vampirius, whatever the fuck his name is. It just seems kind of out of place. It doesn't feel like it should be in the same episode. I think they should have ended the episode with Rito attacking, or either that or just drag it out even longer, like have a on-foot fight with Rito, and then go to the Megazords or something. Because the ending just doesn't seem like part of the episode. But overall, as an episode itself, it is a good episode. Absolutely love it with the defeating of Rito. And then even the Megazord battle that doesn't feel right in the episode, it's still okay. I believe if you average that out, that becomes more like a 7 point something. But actually, considering it all together, if I were to give a rating to every episode, I would give it a 9. Very memorable episode. A lot happens here. Really just a great episode overall. So yeah, that's my review of Ninja Quest. Stay tuned for another review of another episode sometime later. I don't know what episode it will be, but yeah, stay tuned for that. So yeah, thank you for watching.